I met Alessandra when I was still a child. I was 10 years old and she was 9. We grew up together, me, her, and my older brother, who was 12. My mother took care of Alice for quite some time while her mother worked. I remember our weekends, almost at dusk, when the three of us would go out to merry with the Galoom. I remember the games in the neighborhood, the church fairs, where we were always together. We were stuck to each other. And it was like that at school too. Naturally, Alice and I became involved and started dating while still in high school. It was no surprise to anyone. Her family rooted for us, and at my house, she was already treated like family. I finished high school, and it was quite difficult for me. I got into a university with a 100% scholarship, however, it was 120 kilometers from our city. And because of that, I would have to live in a student residence during my studies. Alice was sad, and I almost gave up because of her. But I knew I needed to graduate to be able to marry and have a better life with her. The first year was very complicated. Almost every weekend I managed to go home, and we would be together. She was always there waiting for me and crying at the gate when I left. Things started to change the day my sister mentioned that a nightclub had opened in town. We had never been to anything like that. Our town is very small. Usually, people went to the neighboring town, which was about 40 kilometers from where we lived. So it was something out of the question for us, as neither we nor our parents owned cars. We were quite humble at that time. And on the weekend that I returned to the city, she and my sister started nagging us to go to this nightclub. I didn't want to go for several reasons, but the main one was because I was spending very little time with Alice, and I wanted to be closer to her. To please Alice, I ended up agreeing, and the three of us went to this nightclub. There was a lot of noise there, loud music, and I wasn't feeling well. I stayed by Alice's side the whole time, but I wasn't enjoying it. Several guys passed by and stared at her and my sister. They were very beautiful women at that time. So far, everything was normal, but it bothered me a lot. My sister, being single, accepted to dance with a guy, and all night guys kept asking her to dance. I didn't know how to dance and realized that Alice was enchanted and hardly paid attention to me. My sister really liked the place. And my sister ended up hooking up with a guy there, who had even asked her to go again in the middle of the week. This nightclub was open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And on Wednesdays, it was like a matinee with free dance lessons. On Sunday, when I was returning to the student residence, Alice asked if she could go with my sister on Wednesday. I immediately said no. I explained that the guys there wouldn't stop looking at her and that it wasn't a place for a committed woman to go alone. Alice didn't like it. And we said goodbye in a very dry way. I was very sad and left. During the week, I called her almost every day. And the excitement she had was no longer the same. On Tuesday night, she called me all sweet, asking to go with my sister to that nightclub on Wednesday. She said she would never do anything wrong, especially since my sister would be with her. After talking a lot, I ended up letting her go, but I felt uneasy. On the weekend, I went there again to see Alice and my family. And she treated me very well. She was very happy. She said she was learning to dance and wanted to go there with me on Saturday. I said okay, but that I wouldn't let her dance with anyone. She even agreed, but when the time came, it was a different story. That day I left that place devastated. Arriving there, she saw the teacher who was teaching her and my sister to dance. And she asked if she could go dance with him. I said no, and we started arguing. She said I was being jealous and immature. And that it was nothing. Then I said, look, I'm really tired. I traveled almost 3 hours to see you and be with you. I didn't even want to be in this place. Do you want to dance with someone else instead of being with me? She said she was already with me and that I was being fussy. And I retorted and said, do you really want me to stay here watching you dance with another guy? She got angry and said she was going to the bathroom. When she was coming back, the teacher stopped her and asked her to dance. She looked at me, took his hand, and went to dance with him. I stood up, turned my back, and left. The next day my sister came to talk to me, saying that she had only danced and that nothing had happened. And I told my sister, for me, it's over. I'm going to talk to her before I leave. My sister still defended her, but I said, you're single, she's not. She can't do whatever she wants, she's dating me. I called Liz to talk, and to my surprise, we broke up without any resistance. She seemed indifferent. She was happy. Now I believe she could go to the nightclub as much as she wanted. That must have been her thought. I started going to the city only once a month. Because since I no longer had a relationship with Liz, it didn't make sense to go every weekend. A year passed since our breakup. The city was small. I kept hearing that she was going out with one guy, then another. And so, I gradually stopped liking her. My sister sometimes forgot and would mention something about her. She was dating a guy she met at that nightclub. It didn't last long. He was a rich, somewhat famous guy from a neighboring town. I graduated and returned to my mother's house. I was very happy. Almost 2.5 years after my separation from Liz, she appeared at my house. She greeted me, hugged me. She looked very down and pale. She stayed in the living room with my mother and my sister. She started saying that she considered us family. When she left, my sister came to talk to me. She said that Liz had been dating for about 4 months. And that the guy had broken up with her. And now she had found out she was 2 months pregnant. Her mother and father were devastated. And the guy had disappeared and abandoned her. I wasn't surprised at all. My friends had told me. After we broke up, she went around with many guys in town. She was always at nightclubs. And even my sister, who was always more liberal, had stopped going out with her. Because of the company she kept. I remember I was in the church hallway, talking to a friend of mine. And she went there to talk to me. And she became embarrassed and left. And it was just me and him talking. I know you already know about my situation. I just didn't want to be judged by everyone. Everywhere I go, people judge me. I just wanted to live intensely. And I did live intensely back then. I replied. I don't judge you. Each one chooses their own path, right, Liz? She replied. Many appear to talk about me. But no real man here will commit to me. Then I couldn't hold back and said. Seriously, Liz. No real man will commit to a woman who has been with many men and is pregnant with another's child. That's not being a real man. That's being a sucker. You wanted to live and you lived intensely everything you wanted. And now you're going to say that men are no good. That there are no real men. Throwing all the responsibility for your choices on others. Look, I don't know your objective in coming here to talk to me. But if it's to say you're sorry, then you're wasting your time. You're calling me a sucker to my face. She got angry. She said she didn't need me, she didn't need any man. And she started cursing at me randomly. Have some shame, Liz. Go after your child's father. Get what you're entitled to. And find someone who is in the same situation as you. Find a guy who has lived intensely, just like you said you lived. A guy who also has children. Today, our values are very different. I would never put myself in a life with someone with such an unequal burden. Simply because it's not fair. She held back tears, turned her back, and left.